Witches and wizards, I have some exciting news for you today. I think we have cracked the code of the horned serpent. And I did mean to say we, because this is not a me thing. The community has helped. I do want to give a shout out to a few particular people. Lunst Valentine and Lordy Hades from my Discord. They put together some spreadsheets for me. Really good work that helped out tremendously. It did not actually end up getting used, but I did want to say thank you for that. Additionally, Bliznik and 13121417 from Discord. They're on a couple different Discord servers. Thank you for your input and your help with this research. Obviously, Expecto Go, because Expecto Go was a big part of this. And then finally, probably the biggest kudos of all goes to Professor ESS. Professor ESS sent out a tweet to Expecto Go and I after watching our videos on oddity spawns and brought some new light to this, and it all just, everything seemed to kind of come together and fall into place after that. He has also done a write-up. I will put a link down in the description below. If you watch this video early, the report may not be up with a link, so check back a little bit later in the day. There will be a link there eventually as soon as I have it in order to post. Also, there's going to be a link to Expecto Go's channel in the description below. Make sure you check them out and show them some love. Okay, so let's do just a really brief recap as to what we knew about oddities, their spawn habits going into this week. We knew that in talking with WB that they were based on canon. We also knew that there were very specific regions of the world where horned serpents did not spawn, most notably here in the Los Angeles area. There were also conflicting reports as to when oddities were spawning. We know for sure they spawn during dawn and dusk. And I'm gonna go ahead and make the call here that that is their spawn time. Now, people have seen them at night, and on very extremely rare occasions, people have seen them during the day. And that would actually be pretty easy to explain because once a spawn happens, it's on a timer and it's going to stay spawned for the length of that timer. If something happened to spawn at, say, dusk, but you didn't see it until your in-game turned to night, well, then you would report it as having seen it at night when actually it was a dusk spawn. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the call here. Horned serpents spawn at dusk and dawn only. Now I'm going to put an asterisk next to all of this, and I'm going to say that I'm willing to concede the possibility that within the game code, there is a chance for any spawn to spawn at any point, but it is probably a very, very, very minute number. Like, we'll just throw out a random number like 0.00001% chance that you may see any spawn at any time. So if we know that oddities spawn according to canon, it's probably a good idea that we know a little bit about the horned serpent oddity. And what we know from the different sources is that, is it Isolt Sayri? That's what I'm gonna say, Isolt Sayri, who is a founder of Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, is said to have befriended a horned serpent she met at a creek at Mount Greylock, Massachusetts in 1620. This would later be the site for the Great North American School of Magic, and the horned serpent would be chosen by Isolt as one of the 4 houses of Ilvermorny. We also know that horned serpents make their homes near bodies of water. Many Native American tribes associate the horned serpent figure with water, rain, lightning, and thunder. So when we get a bunch of reports of I see him near the lake, I see him near the river, well, it makes sense. But I think there's a bigger thing at play here. I actually think, and I'm going to say this, the conclusion that we've drawn is that the spawning near lakes and rivers is actually completely anecdotal. And you'll find out what I mean and why I'm willing to make this claim a little bit later in this video. Now, before I get into the nuts and bolts of this research, I feel bad because there are a couple of asterisks next to this, things that we can't explain, outliers, anomalies, things that don't add up or fit with the rest of the research. So that could mean that all of this is just completely wrong, but I really think we're on the right track here. Some of the abnormalities are going to be, there is a screenshot of somebody who has one horned serpent. They are in the LA region, and it was found in Riverside, California. The reason why we're treating this as just an outlier is because it was found on the day the game launched. And we know that horned serpent spawn rates have been nerfed since then. So this is just like a one-off, and it would also fit the fact that probably at any given point, any spawn can happen. And the fact that nobody else in that immediate area has seen one unless they've traveled outside the area, I'm just going to take that as noise in the data. Additionally, the reason why we're going to go ahead and conclude that bodies of water have nothing to do with spawns is because Southern California is right next to the Pacific Ocean. It doesn't get much bigger of a body of water than that, and they still don't spawn here. San Diego is on the Pacific Ocean. They don't spawn there either. So we quickly decided that bodies of water are anecdotal to this, but where you find bodies of water, you find precipitation, right? If you're in Southern California, it's very arid, it's very dry here. It doesn't rain a lot, so there aren't a lot of bodies of water outside of the Pacific Ocean. Now, if you go a couple hours away and up into the mountains, you have Big Bear and Big Bear Lake. Well, guess what? Horned serpents spawn there, and Big Bear Lake is kind of always associated with the Los Angeles area. We've now ruled out that they spawn next to bodies of water. We've now decided that, like humidity probably doesn't really play into this. It led Professor ESS to do some researching, and he stumbled across the Köppen climate classification chart. I have no idea what this is. I cannot explain it. Whenever the link goes live, make sure if you're interested, you can basically look and see, or you can Google it. But essentially, the basics of this are every place on the globe is given a 3-letter code, and it's used for, actually, it might be useful for potion ingredients, but it was actually developed for what climates things will grow in. And so that's kind of how it's broken down, and it's broken down into like, if you're dry desert region with hot summers and little rain, or one of the codes could be an arid region with mild summers and rainy winters. So it kind of breaks things down, but not all areas are identical. There are pockets like Big Bear Lake that is within the confines of a desert region, but don't necessarily fit the desert biome. Professor ESS actually took that information and started looking at annual rainfall, right? Because looking at the Köppen climate classification chart, there's just not a whole lot of difference between Big Bear and Los Angeles, despite Big Bear being up in the mountains. The difference is annual rainfall. Los Angeles, on average, receives 15 inches of rainfall per year, while Big Bear Lake receives an average of 20 inches of rainfall a year. Now, out of those two areas, Big Bear has confirmed reports of horned serpents. So that got us to thinking it has to be based on annual rainfall. Now, I'll be honest here. I don't know what is considered official rainfall totals. I know when I used to live in Dallas, they would say it rained X number of inches in downtown, but officially the airport received X number of inches, and it was a different total. So I don't know how or where the official totals for rainfall are kept, but we just used what Google said because Google knows everything. We started comparing places where horned serpents do not spawn and places where we know and have confirmed reports of horned serpents. For example, San Diego does not get horned serpents. They have an annual rainfall of 12 inches per year. Indianapolis has horned serpents, and they get rainfall of 42 inches per year. Colorado Springs, Colorado has an annual rainfall of 18 inches per year, and Dillon, Colorado has an annual rainfall of 20 inches per year. And as you may have guessed, Colorado Springs, no horned serpents. Dillon, Colorado, horned serpents. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that horned serpents spawn based on your annual rainfall. If you live somewhere and you go into Google and you type annual rainfall, my location, and it is 20 inches or above, I'm going to say that you see horned serpents regularly. If you go in and type in my annual rainfall and you're under that, I'm going to say you don't see them regularly. Now there is a little bit more at play here than just that. We truly believe that there is some sort of an active rain multiplier involved with this. And the reason is because Tucson, Arizona has an annual rainfall of 12 inches per year. So they are not going to see horned serpents. And if you live in Tucson, then you know I don't see horned serpents. However, since the launch of this game, there was an evening that had an unexpected monsoon dump large amounts of rain onto the Tucson area, and horned serpents suddenly appeared. There are also other people who have reported that they don't see horned serpents, but they do when it is raining. Now, when we compared that data with their annual rainfall, they've always been pretty close to that 20 inches of rain cutoff, but nothing as far off as the 12 inches that Tucson receives. And it has rained here in Los Angeles since the game dropped, not a lot, but we do think that there's some kind of multiplier and some kind of a time frame where if it rains during a specific in-game time, then it will trigger horned serpent spawns in your area, even if you are under that 20 inches threshold. Throughout our research, we have examined locations around the globe, and there are very, very few exceptions to this rule. Pasadena, California receives 21 inches of rain annually, but they do not get horned serpents. Same thing for Lincoln, California, which receives 22 inches of rain annually. Again, no horned serpents. And then there's this real odd one of Salt Lake City, Utah, which gets 20 inches of rain, but there's conflicting reports that yes, they do and no, they don't. Cooper, if you are watching, and Cooper's Charms, I'll put a link in the description to her channel below. She lives in Salt Lake City. I've tried to reach out to you on Discord. You're not answering my ping. So let me know in the comments below. You live in Salt Lake City. Do you see horned serpents in your area? All of this is to say that officially I am tying my trailer to the spawn pattern of dawn, dusk only. If you live in an area with 20 inches of rain annually, you see horned serpents. And if you live somewhere that doesn't typically see horned serpents, but rain happens at just the right time, according to in-game time of day, then you will have the opportunity to see sporadic horned serpent spawns. That is what we have come up with. Now it's up to you guys. We need your guys' help. Your job is not done. Verify, double check our results. We realistically don't have time to go through and check to see where everybody lives who's playing this game. Look at your annual rainfall, leave a comment down below and let me know. Does this theory hold up for you? Now, I don't need to know where you live. I'm not going to come stalk you, but if you want to put how much your annual rainfall is and if you see horned serpents or not, then we can start validating this decision that we've come to. Again, thank you to everybody, because like I said, we had over 1,000 respondents on this. So thank you to everybody who took a minute out of their day to tell us, yes, I see them, no, I don't. And if I could just ask you for one more favor, if you could just double check our analysis here and let us know what you think. I hope you found this information useful. If you could do me a favor, if you could spread this video out to as many people as you can. We do want to have as much data as we can possibly have so that we can see if our results are indeed accurate. And the best way to do that is to have a larger sample size. Yes, we have 1,000 points of data already mapped, but we could always use more. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and go ahead and hit subscribe while you're there. It really does help this channel out. If we have indeed put the horned serpent debate to rest, we do have other oddities that we need to start digging into. So I definitely appreciate your help here. And we will be reaching out to you again in the very near future to help, because we have leprechauns, we have centaurs, we have pixies, we have vampires, we have dragons. There are a lot of other oddities that we need to discuss and figure out spawn habits on. That's all I've got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time.